Hey there, everybody, Mr. Larson here. So you've reached the Human Genetics digital lesson. So in the screencast, I'm going to talk about basically how you're going to work through this and what to sort of expect as you're moving forward. So first off, you're going to want to look at what this guiding phenomenon is. So basically what is going to guide us through is this question about how our current understanding of Mendelian genetics, very simple, one trait to one gene, how it actually differs in sort of the grand scheme of things, and how we are sort of a great example of how it's not always so black and white with Mendelian genetics. So first, there is an introduction presentation. This is a screencast of me going through a presentation about the complexity of human genetics, so make sure to watch that. There are no notes unless you want to take them underneath. That is up to you. Basically, it's just sort of watch, listen, and just think about how it's basically how you are affected by this. The next section is basically looking at what you have inherited from your parents. So how do you, or what basically characteristics are you getting from your parents? So this is a video that you can watch to help you answer these 5 questions here below. So the next section is basically looking at different types of complex inheritance. So watch 3 of these videos, 3 of these 4, and then read at least one of these articles. And once you go through that, type in the information here in this graphic organizer here below. Just what you've learned, what types of inheritance each one has, if it's incomplete, if it's sex-linked, if it's autosomal, if it's codominant. Basically, all these things will sort of be explained in the videos and the articles. Once you complete that section, we're going to go to this pedigree practice here. So basically, we're going to look at this pedigree chart for color blindness. So you have the first generation, the second generation, and the third generation. In the introduction presentation, I talk about pedigrees and sort of what they are. But if you need a nice little review, here's another YouTube video talking about pedigrees and what they are. So using this information here, the different X chromosomes without the colorblind trait, with a colorblind trait, using these sex chromosomes, you're going to answer these 7 questions here below. So you use the sex chromosomes, you use the pedigree. Think about what sex chromosomes basically mean for a male, for a female. What does a carrier mean, and all those sorts of large topics that we're talking about in this section. And last but not least, there is an apply section. So this one may seem a little daunting, but just take it step by step, and we can work through it. So you're going to read through this paragraph, basically explaining that there is another Simpson out there. There are these 5 options of basically possibilities of being a Simpson. So we're going to actually work through the different possible traits that the children could have, and actually look at their characteristics and see if it actually applies. So first, you're going to need to know basically what is dominant over which. So brown eyes are dominant over blue, floppy earlobes are dominant over attached earlobes, hair texture is incompletely dominant, curly hair is dominant, wavy hair is heterozygous, straight hair is recessive, different blood types, and color blindness. So we're going to use each of these characteristics in order to figure out which of these is the real Simpson. So in order to do that, I'm going to help guide you through sort of this color blindness section. So to help out, so color blindness, we're going to be first looking at the phenotypes of Marge and Homer. So I'm going to make sure that the top here is Homer, and I'm going to make sure the side here is Marge. So top is Homer, the side is Marge. So the characteristics for color blindness of Homer is colorblind. It says here, right here, that he is colorblind. Since he is colorblind, we're going to have to look at what that means. So colorblindness is sex-linked, basically meaning that if he is colorblind, he has that recessive trait. So I'm going to copy this allele here at the bottom, and I'm going to paste it here in his in that first square, because he has that color blindness gene. Now, since he is a male, What that means for his other sex chromosome is that it has to be a Y. It has to. Because he's a male, it has to be X and a Y. And then now, since we have Homer's genotype here, we're actually going to look at Marge's genotype. So Marge here says normal vision. She is homozygous. So remember, homozygous meaning the same. So homo means the same. Hetero means different. Homozygous basically meaning she has both her X chromosomes do not have the color blindness trait. So here you have the color blindness, or the X chromosome without the color blindness trait, and here's the other X chromosome with the without the color blindness trait. So now that we've basically put in our Punnett square for Homer and Marge, we now can complete the rest of this basically Punnett square. So I usually like starting from the top, working my way down. So I'm going to go, so this X chromosome is going to drop down here. It's going to drop down here. This Y chromosome is going to drop down here. And going to drop down here. And then now we're going to basically cross over and basically use what Marge shares with her offspring. So Marge is going to pass this one down to these children. This X chromosome goes to these children, and then this X chromosome gets passed down to these children. So these are all possibilities of the offspring that Marge and Homer could have. So you're going to do this for the blood type, you're going to do this for eye color, you're going to do this for earlobes, you're going to do this for hair texture. Just use this same exact process over and over again, and looking at the possibilities of the children. So once you do that and complete this section, you are going to go down here and write the genotypes and the phenotypes for each person in the chart using the following symbols. So since Homer is colorblind, as it says here in this table, so Homer is colorblind, you're going to actually use the colorblind traits. So you're going to copy the recessive, or the X-linked chromosome with the recessive allele. And then, of course, he needs that Y chromosome because he is a male, since it is a sex-linked trait. So then he's colorblind. So next, we're going to look at his blood type. So his blood type, as it says here in the section, is homozygous type A blood. So we're going to scroll back down. So blood type is A, B, or O. There's different examples. Here you have your blood type A and blood type A. Here you have your blood type B and blood type O. So his blood type is blood type A, as it says in the section above, and it's homozygous. So basically this here means that he is blood type A. That means he is blood type A for one of his alleles. But now his second allele is also blood type A because it tells us that it is homozygous. So there you have your second allele. Now his earlobes. His earlobes, as it says in the section here below, are heterozygous floppy. So in this section, floppy earlobes are dominant over attached earlobes. So he is heterozygous. Heterozygous means that they are different. So heterozygous are basically, so he is floppy heterozygous, meaning he will have one dominant allele and one recessive allele. So remember, heterozygous means different, homozygous means the same. Now we're going to go to his hair. Homer's hair, as it says in the section here above, is wavy. He has wavy hair. So what does that mean in our for our alleles? So hair texture is incompletely dominant, curly hair is dominant, wavy hair is heterozygous. So since he has wavy hair, that must mean he has heterozygous alleles. When we scroll back down to the section, hair is used by the letter H. So his hair is going to be capital H and lowercase h because he has that wavy texture, meaning it is heterozygous. And last but not least, we have eye color. So eye color basically means looking at that last section. So he has homozygous brown eyes. So homozygous means it is the same. So eye color is basically looking at, here we go. Brown eyes are dominant over blue eyes. So Homer has those brown eyes, meaning he has two capital letter Bs, or two dominant alleles, since they are homozygous. So you're going to have two capital letters representing that phenotype of brown hair. So you're going to do this for every single person. You're going to look at Marge, you're going to look at DeMonte, you're going to look at Hoyt, you're going to look at John, you're going to look at Truong, you're going to look at Panchito. Each of them are going to have their own characteristics, and then using all this information here, analyzing the possibility of different offspring, analyzing the actual physical characteristics of those children, of the possible people it could be, you are going to tell me who is the other Simpson. So it does seem like a lot, but I know you guys can do it. You guys have worked really hard so far this semester, and I believe you guys can go for it. So that is the human genetics digital lesson. This should take you about 2 to 3 hours. I know it's going to be a little bit, but I know you guys can do it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always available through Zoom or email, and I hope to see you guys soon.